Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm excited to see you all or your family members at 12 o'clock today in the parking lot to pick up your activity kits for the week and to say hi to me and Peter. Today we're going to be making dirt dessert. I wonder what that could be. But first, because we're going to be using things that we're then going to eat, let's go wash our hands. Everyone should have a baggie, and when you look through it, you can already see that there's some Oreos in there. And this is pretty much all you're going to need for this activity. If you have a spoon in your house, that might be helpful as well. First step is to open your bag and take out everything but the Oreos. So your bag should have 3 or 4 Oreos, and then we're gonna seal the bag back up. So our desserts are going to look like the soil that you might see outside in your garden or in a park. But what's special about this type of soil is that we're actually going to be able to eat it. So our first step is going to be to crush up the Oreos in our bag. Now remember, it's really important that you keep your bag tightly zipped. That way we don't spray Oreo crumbs everywhere. So I'm gonna get to mashing up my Oreos until they're like a crumbly texture. You can also crush it with your hands because my spoon poked a little bit of a hole in the bag. So if I were to do this again, I would be a little more gentle with my spoon. That way my bag doesn't break. But now what we're gonna do is pour our Oreo crumble into our cup that came in our activity kit. So what we have here is our Oreo, and this is gonna be the bottom of our dessert. And the Oreo is kind of like the parent rock when you think about the soil that might be in your garden outside. So the parent rock is a rockier soil, it's harder to dig into, and that's kind of similar because Oreos are crunchy. Next step is to take this little cup and open it up. It smells really good. So this is frosting, vanilla frosting. And in our dessert cake, it's going to represent topsoil. So topsoil is the very top layer of soil. It's a little more moist, it's easier to dig, and it helps plants grow by giving it the food that it needs to get really big and tall. So I'm gonna take the spoon that I used to crush my Oreos, and I'm gonna scoop out the frosting, and I'm gonna put it as a top layer on top of my Oreo. And then I'm gonna spread it out so it covers everything. And it's okay if it gets mixed in a little bit. Next step is to add our worms. So I wouldn't wanna eat worms in real life, but in our dessert, our worm is a cherry flavored Twizzler. Can you see how it kind of looks like a worm? Worms are really important in your garden because worms help water flow through the soil and helps the soil get enough water and air. So even though it's just a dessert, I want to make sure I have a worm in my garden. I don't just want one worm, but I want a lot of worms in my garden because they're super important. So I'm going to tear off pieces. With all of these worms in my garden, I think we're gonna have a really tasty dessert and soil that's getting enough air and water. The final step is to add rocks to our garden. So for our yummy dessert, rocks are going to be Skittles. So I'm gonna place some rocks on top of the frosting or the topsoil in my garden. So I added these rocks to my dessert because first, they add a nice decoration, but also rocks are really important in gardens to help keep weeds away, and I don't want any weeds in my garden. Okay everyone, your dirt dessert is complete. Now there are two things that you need to do before you eat your dessert. First, remember to clean up your area in case you made a mess while you were making it. Throw away your baggie and any other trash that you collected. And second, post a picture of your creation to Seesaw. That way we can all see what you made. And finally, it's time to dig in.